Welcome to Pixel Therapy, the video game podcast where we look at the games we play through the lens of the player, where what you play is just as important as how you play it, and where emotional intelligence is a critical stat. I'm your co-host, Jamie, pronouns she, they.
And I'm your co-host, Spencer, pronouns they, them.
And this is Pixel Therapy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're new to our little podcast, please consider checking out our Patreon at patreon.com/pixeltherapypod, where you can subscribe for free to stay up to date on all things Pixel Therapy. It's the best way to find all of our podcasts, streams, and written thoughts and get notified whenever we put out new content. And if you're looking for other ways to support the show, please consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. You can subscribe to the Pixel Therapy Pod YouTube channel as well. That's youtube.com/@pixeltherapypod, where we're streaming right now and where we'll continue to post live recordings of all our episodes. And of course, know that no matter how you choose to engage with us, we appreciate you being here all the same. All right. It's time to get cozy, pull up an armchair, feel free to lie down on the couch, and let's talk about our feelings. Spencer, how are you?
I mean, I've been feeling very afraid as of a few hours ago because we decided to do something scary together.
Oh,
if you recall.
I was so confused. Like,
you were so like nodding along,
there's
like,
so
yeah,
things that
makes
you could have
sense.
been referring to just that were scaring you. But yes, we've been playing. It's October, so we've been playing scary games. Oh my god, I was like, oh, we're getting right into it.
You're like, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Scary times.
It is scary times. But it's also scary times because we've been playing Phasmophobia together. Twice now. For folks who don't know, Phasmophobia is like a multiplayer. Well, I guess you can play it single player. I don't know why you would want to do that to yourself.
Why would you?
But you can. It's an option.
Always an option.
But it's a multiplayer game. Where I think it's like up to 4 people. And you are like ghost hunter types. If you've ever watched like a ghost hunting show on, what channel are those on? Like TNT? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like all the
that's a good one.
Cable channels.
TLC.
I feel like History Network like somehow gets away with this kind of shit on their channel for some reason.
Discovery.
Yeah, so you're playing as ghost hunters. You have, your camcorder, your flashlights, your little audio recorder, little like ghost energy reader. And you pull up to some haunted place in the middle of the night and you go explore it. And you've got like
try to find that ghost.
You try to find that ghost. And what we have learned quite quickly is that you don't find the ghost finds you. And in most cases, very, very quickly murders you.
Yeah, for real though.
We're real gamers, so we skipped the tutorial and
hubris.
Spent about half of our first play session just trying to figure out how to get out of the van.
Yeah.
And pick up equipment, and
it's humbling getting out of that van.
Yes. It's also got like a little bit of jank to it too, to like up the comedy factor. But the game is like legitimately scary because like the ghosts like the ghost can hear you. I'm doing air quotes for people who are listening to the podcast. It's not like the ghost is like some sort of AI entity that like hears you and like responds to you or anything like that. But they've programmed the game so that like the ghost recognizes if you are speaking into your mic, like in the game chat, it like recognizes that you're being loud. And so like if you're a loud person, such as myself,
pointing at ourselves, both.
Like when the ghost hunt starts, like when the lights start flickering and like the ghost is coming, you're supposed to like go fucking hide and be quiet. And so it hasn't been working. So at opposite ends of this house, like hiding. I'm in a closet. So there's like in a kitchen cupboard, and we're just like whispering. The ghost fucking found us anyway. Fucking murdered.
Jamie, are you there? Jamie's like, yes. Shut up.
I think the ghost is still around. Yeah.
So
it's just ended quickly and sadly, but it has been scary. Yeah.
And I like that. I don't know. We haven't really played many. It's weird because we play a lot of games and we like to talk about games together, but we don't often play games together
Yeah,
like
no.
online.
No, not
Like
really.
we'll play together when we're physically in the same place, but um I don't know. I guess I do feel like a lot of online multiplayer games are not the type of games that I'm particularly into. Like it's like, what are they called? Like what is Fortnite? It's like a game where
Oh,
you
battle royales
shoot
are super
gun battle
popular. That and
royale.
it yeah, that would
Yeah,
be a shooter. That'd be a third person shooter. But they're mostly
that
just
kind of
shooters,
thing.
right? Like third person shooter
Yeah,
or first person shooter. And
it's
they're
just not really my
highly
bag.
competitive. Highly competitive.
Yes, I don't like to
You want
compete.
something with
So
minimal shooting and
yes,
more collaborative.
exactly.
Although
So I like
yeah.
that this game has that aspect of like I like how it integrates the voice chat into this. Like you're basically like this documentary crew coming in,
Yeah.
like you said, ghost hunters, but you're trying to find evidence, and so there's need to talk to each other and coordinate. But it's not necessarily like you're working together. I don't know. All the pieces, all the recipe ingredients are there. I will say I did do the tutorial earlier after you
Yes,
logged
okay.
off, and many paths were open to me that I had not considered
You're ready
before.
to descend like Moses from the mountaintop and
Yeah.
teach me the ways of the world.
I'm like, oh. So, I don't know. Get in there, and then let's
Yeah.
let's
To be clear,
reconvene.
we weren't just trying to be, quote unquote capital G gamers by skipping the tutorial. We just both completely missed in our
Yes.
excitement to get into a multiplayer game with each other. We
Exactly.
missed the fact that on the main
barreled
screen
past.
before you join a multiplayer game, there is in fact a tutorial that you can access. And so that was the issue. But
It's quite immersive, this game.
Yeah,
to the point where
it is pretty immersive. You can tell we don't play games together a lot though, because like both times that we've played this, when I get on the mic and say hello to you, you just start giggling.
Because it's so funny. You're in there. We're talking to each other.
I was like, why are you laughing? You're like, you're in my head. Like, this is not the part that should be funny. All we did was
like
party
phone,
up.
but funner.
Yeah, phone but funner. Yeah, I think the only other time we've played, well, we played a little bit during the pandemic, but the only other like game I remember playing just the two of us like on PlayStation was like Ghost of Tsushima's multiplayer, the Legends thing. We played that like one night.
Oh yeah.
And then never again.
And never again. We've played Wingspan, right? Or no?
Not remotely yet. You tried to invite me one time and I missed the message.
Oh, right. I was ghosted by Jamie.
Yeah. That's what it was. You learned your lesson though. I told you, I was like, just text me because I might have just missed it. And then last night you texted
me. Well,
me.
now that I know how to use party, now I know that I knew how to use the party feature. I can call you with my PlayStation.
You can. Yep. You can just invite me to a party and then I get a little notification and I can decide whether or not to accept that.
We have the technology.
We do. Well, it's been fun. I hope we'll continue to play games together. Although, whether or not Phasmophobia continues to be the primary game we play together, we'll have to see. But it's a little stressful.
I have faith we will solve one. We will identify one ghost. That will be my litmus. Then we can be done forever.
Okay. I'll do what I can to provide that for you.
Thank you.
But we have been playing a lot of games over the last month plus. This episode is coming a little bit late because of just things in life. But in the background, while we weren't here on the mics talking to you all, we were playing a bunch of fucking games. More games than we could possibly talk about in this one episode. But we have whittled down the list to a few games to discuss today. I've, without consultation, referring to this as our indie extravaganza episode, because an extravaganza is 4 games. But no, I think first we want to talk about a game that we both played, that we've been really excited to talk about, which is called Herdling. This is a game that we've mentioned a few times on the podcast. We got to demo this game at PAX West last year in
Mm-hmm.
2024, and I got to do another like private demo of it earlier this year, and got to do a like a walkthrough of it with the developer, which was really cool. And we talked about it then, and now we've actually played the game. We've gotten hands on.
Full circle.
If you don't remember us talking about this game, this is a game that came out from the developer Okomotive. It's published by Panic. It's in the game you play as a young person who kind of like wakes up in a sort of like grim and lonely looking urban environment, and you start finding these large, like furry, sort of Highland cow crossed with a goat, crossed with a woolly mammoth.
Eldritch monster.
Yeah, and an eldritch
but
monster.
friendly.
But friendly, yeah. These big furry guys with horns called calicorns. And you start finding them kind of one at a time, and you build up your herd. And you start to lead them out of the city, across the fields, and up into the mountains to find a new home for all of you. Absolutely gorgeous game. I think I played it in one sitting. It only took me maybe like 4-ish hours, maybe even a little bit less than that. And like that was all the way like through the game and platinumed it in like one night.
Nice.
Really, really love this game. I'm super high on this. But what's your quick take on the game? How did you play it? Do you remember how long it took you?
Yeah. Did you, when you platinumed it, like, did you follow a guide or did you just kind of naturally?
Mostly natural.
Get
Mostly
it.
natural. I referenced a guide after I had finished the game just to check in on the couple of trophies that I had outstanding. But I mean, really, they weren't like I think the collectibles and stuff I got on my own. It was like the ones that I had outstanding were like two little things that you just had to. One was like a thing you had to witness, and you just had to like go to right to this specific area and look in this specific direction, and I hadn't done that. And the other one was it was just kind of like a tricky maneuverability thing that I hadn't done. But I did read through the trophies as I went too, so I was like actively trying to get them. But for the most part, I did not. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I did play it on PlayStation.
I played it on the Steam Deck.
Nice.
And I think similarly, I played it in one evening. I think like 3.5 hours was what the device told me was my playtime. So yeah, that's I feel like it might have been a little bit more. I don't always feel like the playtime is accurate. I don't know why. But anyway, I feel like it was about 4 hours.
Okay.
And I realized I had missed, I wasn't able to platinum it because so over the course of the game, you grow your herd of calicorns, and apparently I missed one. I didn't find all of them.
Oh no.
Which was, I don't know how, because I felt like I was scouring. Anyway,
so
but I did miss
poor
one.
lonely little calicorn out there that you didn't.
I know.
You didn't bring up the mountain. That's really sad. That's really fucked up, actually.
In my headcanon, we go back and find him after.
Okay.
But yeah,
yeah, what'd you think of the game?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, it was, I think it's one of those games where I just am impressed at how they're able to communicate progression and kind of tutorialize without any dialogue being spoken or any explicit directions being given. Like I'm always kind of blown away when I sort of naturally know how to traverse a game or how to find my way forward without there being like an obvious map. So that right away was something that stood out to me. And I think the mechanic of sort of herding from behind, like your character is always in the back and there's the calicorns are in front and you're sort of leading from behind. That's like just a sort of juxtaposition of sort of, I think, expectations around how a main character behaves and their placement within objects on a screen. And so it kind of turned on its head the kind of norms of, what the protagonist's role is. And I just think that simple kind of shift in perspective was a really cool new thing to experience. So
it was also mechanically the thing I was most concerned about going into the game that I that's a tricky thing to pull off mechanically, to position the character behind the herd like that and expect you to be steering them.
Yeah.
And to make that both feel good to do and not be frustrating and fiddly.
Mhm.
Um, and it was something, you know, I think even when we played it at PAX, I don't think they had yet added the visual indicator of where you were
Yes.
steering the herd. Um, it was something that, like, they actually got feedback from players during PAX and then added, and I remember them highlighting it in the hands-off demo that I got to see,
Mm.
uh, over this past summer. But even after that demo, I was still like, "I don't know, like, this still might be the trickiest thing." I ended
Mhm.
up coming away from the game, like, not like, I didn't feel frustrated by that at all. I actually found the mechanics worked really well. And I didn't yeah, I wasn't beating my head against them. I didn't feel like it, like, took me out of the game to be positioned behind the herd like that and steering them. I found that I had enough control to a lot of the trophies are around, like, maneuverability of the herd. Like, there's a
Mhm.
trophy in the opening area that you're not supposed to hit any of the cones when you're moving them through the
Oh.
city. And you have to be kind of fiddly, and, like, if I did that one right away in the game, like, I didn't come back and replay the first chapter to do that when I did it the first time, and it actually, like, really taught me how to really try to precisely move the herd around and take my time. And I
Yeah.
kind of enjoyed the strategy and the minutia of that. And while it still felt like you were controlling a bunch of wild animals, it didn't,
Mhm.
you know, it wasn't like I had so much control over of them that, you know, it was 100% precise, but I felt like could be precise enough as long as I positioned myself correctly and gave the right commands and
Yeah.
made sure to, like, tell them to fucking stop if I needed them to just, like, fucking stop
Yes.
what they were doing.
Oh my god.
Um, how did you find that though? Because I remember that being something you had a concern about too after we played it at PAX.
I think, like, for the most part, I feel like maybe around halfway through the game, I started to really hit my stride. It's funny you mentioned the cones because I was totally, like, aiming for the cones and,
Oh,
like,
no.
barreling through all of them. Like, it didn't even occur to me that that was probably tied to some kind of achievement.
Oh my god, that's funny.
So I was just like, "Fly, my children,
Barreling through,
fly."
yeah.
Um, I think, where I definitely started feeling the heat was, like, there's this segment of the game where you specifically avoid drawing attention from an enemy by not destroying there's these kind of, like, nest totems on the ground,
Yeah, like
and
a
if you destroy
wicker
too many of
statue.
them, yes, you, like, draw the attention of these horrifying owls. I'm like,
They're so scary. They're
"Bro,
like owls crossed with vultures, but they're
these are
the
the scariest
size
looking owls."
of they're so
Yeah.
tall. They're like 8 feet tall.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I was horrified. But anyway, you've gotta kind of get through increasingly narrow turns and paths where, just barely touching these things breaks them, and if you break too many, the owls swoop down and attack you. And I think I was sweating through some of those progressions because 'cause you'd get through one, and then you'd come into the next section, and it would be, like, even more, and I was like, "How am I supposed to, like, get through these?" So, I definitely think the most frustrating part for me initially was, like, you really had to get a sense of, it's like when you're driving a car and you're trying to parallel park, it's like, in a certain extent, you kinda just have to be aware of the space that your car takes up and know that even if you can't see the curb, just the knowledge of the size of your car and being embodied within that is enough information for you to be able to do the maneuver. And, like, similarly, when playing this game, it's like because you're in the back, you can't see. Like you kind of have to mentally judge the distance between the Calicorn who's in front, and kind of without fully seeing, be able to make the call to stop them and reorient the herd and have them move forward again. Because it's like that awareness of space is what's going to get you through, and you're physically not going to be able to turn the camera to see the front to be able to stop them in that way. You just have to plan for it. And so like at first that was very frustrating for me because I was like, I need to be able to like see how much space I have. But then as it went on and I got more comfortable navigating them, I really grew to appreciate that. Like I was like, this is actually a really cool way of, again, kind of treating traversal in a new way in a game where I can't really think of another example where I've had to approach a visual spatial awareness puzzle in that way. And it kind of made me like the type of thinking I was doing and what it unlocked for me. I really appreciated the way it stretched my mind in that way. I don't know. It was
Yeah,
cool.
that's like where the challenge of the game comes from, right?
Yeah.
Is in the maneuvering of the herd. And it's not a game that I think is super challenging because even
No.
even in those sections where you are kind of moving through the totems from the owls and stuff, like if you fuck it up and you knock them over, like the option to just run like always exists. Like there's other ways around problems if you're struggling to get the like kind of fiddliness of the mechanics down. But yeah, it ended up being rather than that being a nuisance. Once I like understood that that's like a key component of the game. It's like this is what you're doing is maneuvering this herd through these spaces. Um, yeah, I came to enjoy it. But I could see that being a barrier for some folks if they really just don't find that interesting. But I think the game does a pretty good job of putting you through like it getting more and more complex and more fiddly as it goes, like really steadily. And not and like being clear that that's what the game is. That this isn't just something to get through. Like
Hmm.
this is a key piece of the game is learning how to work with your herd to through obstacles.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Um, a few other things I want to highlight with this game. Every time you find a calicorn, you get to name it. I thought that was great. It was really
Yeah.
sweet. I really I use like that they have like a name randomizer built into the game so that you can just kind of cycle through a handful of names or you can type something in specifically. I used the randomizer for the most part and just found names that I felt like fit with the calicorns that I
Same.
found. Um, they have a really cool little feature where you can like back out into it might be on the home screen or it might be in the pause menu. I can't remember now, but you can see you can like go in and just like look at your herd and it just has little silhouettes of all the different calicorns in your herd with their names. And some of them, because you can pet the calicorns, you can decorate them with harnesses and little trinkets, almost like earring kind of things that you can hang off
Hmm.
their horn and like crowns and stuff that you can put on them. Um, Made out of flowers and stuff, like a flower crown kind of a deal. So when you interact with them enough times, they might, when you go into the herd menu, like have little descriptors about them. And like at one of mine, it said that she was very brave. It was like something, and it's like, I don't know, it's very touching. As someone like
Yeah.
who really likes animals, who has pets, who forms connections with animals, I found all of that like it worked on me. It was all
Yeah.
very subtle.
Yeah.
And, you know, you end up with like a good, what, 10, 12 calicorns in your herd by the
I
end of the
think it's
game.
12. Yeah.
So it wasn't like I necessarily formed a personal attachment to each individual calicorn, but I was kind of surprised by the end of the game, like how much I remembered, like, oh, this one I found this way. This one I
Hmm.
found this way. Like I knew their backstories for the most part, and there were the ones that were like standouts that I had interacted with the most, and they were the ones that would get the little like color commentary around their personality or what they were bringing to the herd, and that was very sweet. So there was a moment near the end of the game, that, I actually found myself, like, tearing up as I was, like,
Yeah.
wrapping up the game saying me as the player was saying goodbye to these calicorns and this little family that we had found and
Hmm.
this beautiful little journey we'd gone on. Yeah, I just found it super touching and such, like, a just beautiful, refreshing little experience for a Saturday night. Uh, the
Yeah.
game's fucking gorgeous, and there's very few games that have made me feel so, like, free and happy to just be, like,
Hmm.
running through a giant field with a herd of wild animals.
Yeah.
It was really special.
Yeah, like I was also surprised at the emotional uh aspect of it. Because again, this game has no dialogue, it has no other people. It's just you and these calicorns in a desolate world, at least in the beginning. And so I think, I was talking to Jamie about how there was something that hit deeply about, we live in a world that largely disregards the safety of children. And so, like, in this game world, having a child wake up alone in a abandoned and destroyed city and connect with animals and seek safety in nature and to find a safe place to be in community and to be held and to be to in a lot of ways save themselves and bring themselves to a place of safety and utopia. That's just something I think we can all find peace and draw inspiration from, and kind of something I wish for many children in the world. And so it was just a very like touching and beautiful story.
Yeah, I mean, that's ultimately about like finding your place in the world, but also reconnecting with the natural world. I think I remember that being something
Hmm.
they highlighted in the interview that we did with a couple of the developers all the way back at PAX, and talking
Yeah,
about how, yeah, just, they wanted to convey this like reconnection to the natural space and natural world. And I definitely felt that playing the game. It was, yeah, really freeing.
yeah.
Um,
This is gonna sound insane,
okay.
but like, so um, the movie Weapons
Okay, yes.
is also about a small child
Mhm.
that is surrounded by a scary environment and finds a magical stick that they use to get themselves out of a terrible situation. And I feel like this game also was about a small child wielding a stick and finding the resilience and power within themselves to like survive and
Mhm.
thrive. And I,
You're not
I
wrong.
just love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Like
Yeah.
I think we sort of discount, or at least in my experience as a child, it's often like you don't know anything about the
Mm.
world, or you don't have the tools or the knowledge to take care of yourself. And in a lot of ways, that's true. Like, no, like 7 or 8 year old should be like responsible for
Mm-mm.
themselves and should have a loving and supportive environment. But like to see stories where you are able to see the resourcefulness and imagination and innate goodness of children. I think that's something that should be celebrated. So I don't know. I'm like in my feelings about this because I find it very healing for my own inner
Mhm.
child. And so um play Herdling and then watch Weapons.
I just I gotta caveat that a little bit. Totally very dramatically different pieces of media. So I definitely understand the thread that you are pulling on, but I just, just do your research, folks,
Content warning.
before you put weapons on following herdling. If you're thinking that's gonna, I don't think those two things pair super well in an evening. Maybe watch Weapons first, and then Herdling will, like,
Yeah.
leave you feeling that's gonna leave you in a
To
much
help you
better
reintegrate. It's
place.
like when
Yeah.
people play Tetris after a traumatic event to be able to process the trauma. It's like use
Mhm.
Herdling
Yeah,
to process the trauma of Weapons.
that might be a better path forward. Okay, so moving on to a few more games that we played. I wanna do a couple quick hits on, 2 little games that I checked out over the last few months that really stole my heart, but that were both, for different reasons, like, really simple concepts and pretty simple execution that still led to, like, just a really fun time. The first one I wanna talk about, I played on Nintendo Switch, and it's called Is This Seat Taken? This is a little puzzle game made by Poti Studio and published by Wholesome Games. I believe it's also out on mobile. if that
Mm.
appeals to you as a way to play this game. But as I said, I played on the Switch, but I think you can get it on mobile on the the Apple App Store and Google Play. And this is a logic puzzle game. The design is really cute and simple. Everybody are these little cartoon squares and triangles, and I think there's like there might even be little pentagons. Everybody's little shapes with eyes and mouths and little facial expressions. And you, as the player, are consistently presented with a scenario where there's a space that has a bunch of seats in it, and you have to place the characters within this in the scene while accommodating all of their various needs. And it starts really simple. Like it starts out with like a kind of like a taxi cab situation. It's like a ride share service, and there's like 3 to 4 people that need to get into the car, and one of them wants to sit by the window. One of them really wants to sit next to this other person that they want to chat with. One of them wants their own space away from everybody else so that they can put their headphones on, kind of a thing. And then you've got the seats there, and you've got the shapes along the bottom of the screen, the shape characters, and you just pick them up and you drop them into their various seats. And when they're happy with their seat selection, they'll like kind of like do this little boppy up and down move, and they'll be smiling. And if they're not happy with the seat selection, they'll have like a grumpy face and like a little piece of dialogue kind of,
Mhm.
a speech bubble pops up. And you work your way through increasingly like complex scenarios that fall under that same like theme. The car gets bigger, like you're driving a limo next, and you've got to get everybody in the right seats in the limo. And it works through like little narrative beats. Like there's a couple of the shapes that you like follow. They have like a little story that plays
Oh,
out, and
wow,
you follow
okay.
it over the various chapters. But the whole game, like all in, it's been a minute now since I played this, but it wasn't too many. It's like 4 or 5 chapters, and each one has like kind of like 4 or 5 sub chapters. And each of those sub chapters breaks down to like maybe 5 or so puzzles each. So I beat the game over the course of like a week. And as the logic puzzles go and they get more and more complex, you've got all these different characters that you're trying to fit together, and you're constantly, just trying to think like, well, if I put this character here, then that negates the positive vibes of these other characters that are here. So I've
Mm,
gotta it really spoke to me as someone who loves, I don't know if you've ever done the like actual like logic puzzles in like a puzzle book where they have,
mm.
it's like the grids, and like you have like a handful of just like clues of like what people's preferences are, and then you're trying to figure out like you can you shade in the like grids based on what they don't qualify
Oh,
for, to try
no.
to you
Uh-huh.
use process of elimination, that's the phrase I'm looking
Okay.
for, to try to logic out how to place these characters or where they fall,
Mhm.
whatever the scenario is that they've conjured in the puzzle. But you're using process of elimination based on a series of clues, that the clues seem like they wouldn't give you enough information to fully solve the puzzle. But in fact, because they like contradict with each other enough, or like run into conflict with each other at enough points, you can actually fully solve the puzzle with just a small number of clues by using logic and process of elimination. I don't know if anybody knows what these are that I'm talking about, but I used to get
I
these books all the time as a fucking kid and just nerd the fuck out about them. Like just sit there for the entire day, like doing fucking logic puzzles. And this game like totally like triggered that for me. It was just so fun. And then like the production value of it just kind of blew me away. Like I wasn't expecting it to
Mhm.
be as cute, and like with the little story, and
Yeah.
it's got cute little music. Your icon is like this little hand. It's just like also lovingly detailed. And the puzzles were so much fun if you're into this nerdy shit. I highly recommend folks check this out if any of this sounds appealing. It's definitely a nerdy ass little nerd game. Like I'm not
Yeah.
even gonna try to paint it as anything other than that. But I haven't played a logic game like this before, and I was obsessed with it, and I hope that I can find more games like this, because actually this was fantastic, and I would play games like this all the fucking time. Makes
When
my
you
brain
said
so smooth.
when you said the whole little narrative aspects, I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I have the type of neurodivergence where I can emotionally connect with anything with a
With a
face." So,
triangle.
like yeah, like
Yeah, like there's this whole little story about one of the shapes. She wants to become an actor, And she gets an opportunity
Aw.
to meet, like, another actor who's the same. I can't remember what shape she is, but, like, she's a special type of shape that's, like, more unique. Like, a lot of the characters in the game are squares or triangles or whatever, but,
Mm.
she's the shape and she has an actress that she, like, wants to be just like, who's the same shape as her, and then early in the game, she, like, meets her, and the actress is rude to her because the actress is having a bad day. And it, like, almost makes her not wanna be an actor,
Oh
but
my
she pursues it
god.
anyway, and she makes all these fun, artsy friends,
I'm gonna
and
cry.
and then, like, by the end of the game, she gets to reconnect with that actor and that was mean to her, and anyway, I don't
Aw.
wanna spoil the story of Is This Seat Taken, but it
Of
was,
Is
like,
This Seat Taken?
surprisingly deep, like, you're just following her on this journey to, like, pursue her dreams. Yeah, it was
Love
fun.
that. Aw.
Yeah. The other game that, I would categorize as, like, being really, like, just simple and straightforward, but an absolutely damn good time, which I think you played a little bit of this one too, Time Flies?
Mhm.
How much of Time Flies
Yes.
did you play?
Well, it was the very first demo that I played at PAX West
Yes, yeah.
last year,
Mhm.
and then I've played, I mean, maybe a little bit less than an hour. I
Okay.
haven't I haven't achieved everything that there is to achieve, but I think I share in the delight of what is it called? Like, deceptively simple and emotionally, delightful game it is.
Mhm.
But please tell the audience at home about Time
I
Flies.
I will, I shall. This is developed by just a couple of people. I wanna find their name real quick, or, like, more people than just 2 worked on it, but I don't think it's
Mhm.
like a I'm not sure if they consider themselves a true development studio. It says, like, on their website, it says, "A game by Michael Frey and Raphaël Munoz, produced by Playables," which I think that might be a team that helped them make the game, and, this is also published by Panic. We're just having a Panic session here
Brought
because
to you by Panic.
Herdling was also, yeah, that's me, that's just my normal state, brought to you by Panic. No, Herdling was also published by Panic. And it looks like this, Time Flies might, oh, no, it's on the Mac App Store, so it's probably still for PC. But this
Mm.
is out for Nintendo Switch, PC, uh, Macs, and PlayStation. I personally played it on PS5, which is kind of hilarious when you see how simple of a game it is.
Yeah.
This game is literally like white background, hand-drawn black just lines. There's
You're
no
like a pixel
You're a
as the
pixel. You
fly.
are a pixel as the fly, so it's yeah, it's like if you ever opened up, like, Microsoft Paint back in the day, like, old school, like, when, yeah, it was this, like, little pixel drawing and just, like, drew a line, so all lines are, like, 1 pixel wide. There's no shading or, like, great detail. It's just, like, a very flat image of the world, and you as this little fly move through these different scenarios, and you've got a bucket list.
Mm.
A bucket list has like 10 different things on it. They'll be slightly puzzly in the way they're presented. Like, for example, one of the first bucket lists you find, it's got a thing on there that says take a trip or like trip around or something in that vein. And what it was trying to clue you into doing is there's a record player in the room and you can go sit on the record while it spins around. And your fly,
Mhm.
once it goes through a full rotation, it crosses that item off the bucket list. So there's a playfulness to the game in that you are trying to figure out how to achieve each of the items on the bucket list. And then once you've managed to figure out how each item is achieved, you then have to try to do all those items within one life of one fly. Because what's constantly happening from the moment the game begins is that there's a timer in the corner that's ticking down, and that amount of time that you have is based on the lifespan of a fly in the country that you're playing the game from. You can change the country actually, and it's
Oh.
kind of funny because they have so it's and also just to be clear, it's not the true lifespan of a fly because they've like converted it into seconds or whatever, like, they've
Mhm.
condensed it. But it's based on the average
Like, average
lifespan of a
lifespan.
housefly in the US. And then they've converted that into the seconds. I feel like each like session with the game or run, if you want to call it that, kind of roguelite-ish, is like 80 something seconds, I think, for the US. but like Japanese houseflies, I guess, have like a longer lifespan, and so they were like 117 seconds. So once I had like beat the game and I was like going back for the trophies, one of the first things the guide said was like, use the Japanese housefly, like you could
Yeah.
change it to be a Japanese housefly, and then you get like 20 extra seconds or
Nice.
whatever. So that was kind of funny.
Is the house the same for different countries, or does it change?
Yeah,
Like,
everything's the same. Like the setting
okay.
is the same. The only thing the country changes is the length of your lifespan. But
Okay.
it's not like in the menu, the game's like easy mode, play as a Japanese housefly, so it'll be this long. It just defaults to whatever country you're playing from, and then players just figured out that the Japanese one was longer. I'm pretty sure it was the Japanese one. Um, so yeah, that's the game. Very simple. The things on the bucket list, like as you figure out what gets them crossed off, are pretty funny. Like it's got a lot of humor in it, and as I said before, a lot of playfulness because it encourages you to just thoroughly explore the environment and try shit to see what's gonna happen. Like, you might have an inkling of what one of the bucket list items is about, but there were other times where I had no clue what was gonna trigger that thing on the bucket
Mm.
list, and it was just me fucking around and finding out. You'll also, you're a fly, so you will die easily and from silly things. Like, I stupidly thought I could just fly into a glass of wine, and the fly
Yeah,
immediately
that's what I
drowned in the
was
glass of
thinking
wine.
of too. Yeah.
Like, but if you manage to jostle the glass of wine and get it to spill on the table, you can drink up the little puddle of wine that's on the table, and then you're drunk, and that crosses off a bucket list item.
Nice.
Uh,
This fly is strong as hell.
yeah, strong fly. What are you saying that in reference to? Was there something specific?
Because I feel like the amount of force it
Oh,
takes to
yeah.
push over a glass of wine
Yeah,
is
the
like,
fly could not.
this is Ant-Man in the body of a
Yeah,
fly.
this is not, not the most realistic of games, but it was so much fun, just exploring the areas. The maps are like, each room that you're placed in is fairly sizable, while still feeling, not so big that you can't, because you have to be able to get through the whole area within the lifespan of the fly. So, um, and I just had a lot of fun figuring out what was on the bucket list, and then the challenge of trying to do everything in one go once you figure it out. And each of the bucket lists kind of has like you need to sort of die in a certain way too. So that's
Mm.
part of the puzzle too, figuring that all out. And I think you kind of run through maybe it couldn't have been more than 5 or 6 chapters like that, which each area has its own bucket list. And there's you start out, the first chapter is in a house, just a pretty normal house. The second chapter though, you're in an art museum, and it just goes from there. Kind of creative areas that they put the fly in, and figuring everything out. um and yeah, it was just a really fun time to find everything and figure it out. The game also doesn't really have music or anything,
Mm.
so you just hear the constant buzzing of the fly, which that made me like chuckle. Like it was endearing. Even, I didn't find it annoying personally, but I maybe
Yeah. Even though in my
um
real life, if I hear the buzzing of a fly, it's
yes.
like the dread
Don't
inside
want
of
it.
me.
Don't want it in real life, but in the game it was
Yeah.
really sweet. And that was another game that, I played that and finished and platinum that in, probably less than 5 hours total.
Hmm.
But just a really fun, creative time. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, we've
I
just
feel like
had
it's,
such a slew of like great independent games over the last few months. Sorry, what were you
yeah.
gonna say?
No, just similarly, it's like I feel like Time Flies is one of those games that reminds me that there's still so much that you can do. Like gameplay is it doesn't have to be um using the most powerful engines and having the most layered mechanics and skill trees and all of the like narrative overhead in order to be fun, which is like what games are about at their core, is just having a bit of fun and maybe being delighted. And it doesn't there's still so much you can do with so little. And like I think one of the things I was thinking about was just like as you're saying, it's like you're a pixel buzzing around on these flat line drawing, in this flat line drawn environment. And like just I think one of the moments that surprised me was realizing that like I could push the hands of the clock and turn it back, and then that was like an achievement. And it was just,
It also adds time to your life. Like you
right.
moving the clock hands back, you can give yourself more time.
Yeah, and it's just like just discovering those little interactions just by trying stuff, as you were saying. It's like, man, it's like that's what it's all about. Games.
Yeah.
No, it's just one of those reminders of kind of the magic of making games, I think, and that really anyone can make a game. I think you know, people get mired in kind of like, how can I make a game like that? Like it feels insurmountable. Like there's so much you have to know how to be able to do. And I'm not trying to downplay the complexity of making a game like time flies, because there's still a lot of work involved. And also it's like, you know, if you have an idea and you want to make it real, it's probably more achievable than you think. So it's just inspirational to see a game like this. And it's been like critically acclaimed. Like I think I saw a tweet that was like, my game of the year is like Time Flies. And it's like, even if one person feels that way, like that's amazing. I think as a game developer, if I saw that, I'd be like, man, I've made it. Like
it was it was such a fun time and such a refreshing, for all those reasons you just said, like refreshing little experience of like, here's something that's so straightforward and simple, but just so much fun to play. Very, very, very creative. What did you bring to talk about?
Well, I have a question for you.
Okay, yeah.
Would you still love me if I was a Lego?
I want to say yes, but I guess I'm just not sure what all this entails. Like, if you have it, like, can you still talk? Like,
no. I can blink though.
You can. I'm sorry. So, what's the scenario that we meet? Like, do I know you? Do I know you now? And then one day you just become a Lego? Because that sounds horrifying.
You're walking home and you look down on the sidewalk and there's just the one single Lego brick with an eye.
With an eye that's blinking. But crucially, I never knew you before you were a Lego. Like, you've only ever been a Lego. Like, this point is important to me because
I
don't know that I think I would just be terrified if I just found a blinking Lego. And I don't think that I could love you the way that I love you now. But there's
a sense of familiarity.
If you just were transformed one day into a Lego, I mean, yes, I would still love you, and I would want to make you a human again. Like
Thank you.
We would go on a journey together.
A Lego builder's journey?
A Lego builder's journey to try to make you a human again. But if I only ever knew you as a Lego, if like you were never a human person in my life, and I just found a blinking Lego on the street, I might run away screaming.
Freak out. Okay.
I might do that.
Fair.
I might be like, what a cute little guy, and I might put you in my pocket and bring you home and just have a little blinking pet Lego.
Just put me in a nice enclosure.
Yeah, maybe.
All right.
That might be what I do.
Well, it's all possible thanks to Lego Voyagers.
Cool.
A game that I've been playing. It's
your segues are like, they're really on, I don't know if it's another level, but they're on a level.
A level.
Like, no one else is there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Segues
unto your own. You're in a class into your own with your segue work.
Thanks, buddy.
Just gotta tell you that.
Lego Voyagers is a 2-player co-op adventure about Lego bricks, friendship, and play, brought to you by Light Brick Studio and published by Annapurna Interactive.
Thanks. Are you reading this on like the trailer, the announcement trailer?
I actually read it off of lightbrick.com, so thanks guys for that.
Nice.
But okay, for real though, I've been playing this game with my partner. Actually, at Jamie's verbal recommendation, because I was complaining like, there's no co-op games that are just couch co-op that you can play. And Jamie was like, remember Lego Builder's Journey, that game that I loved and played a lot of. Well, that studio just released a new one and it's co-op. And I was like, OMG, because I didn't play Lego Builder's Journey, but I watched some gameplay video after Jamie had described it. And like the people who are in Light Brick Studio making these games are people who are like Lego professionals. A lot of them have worked at the Lego company, so they're deeply familiar with the ins and outs of these bricks that we all know and love. And they've brought that physicality and groundedness into the game. And like, just to explain a little bit more, in this game, you play as 2 individual Lego. See, I know that
like
it's
not
Lego, not Legos.
humanoid pieces. I think it's important to
Yes.
to demarcate Lego Builder's Journey and Lego Voyagers from what people generally probably think of when they hear a Lego game, where you're playing as like one of the little humanoid. I can't remember what the minifigs. You're playing as like a little minifig, and there's a narrative, and you're running around. There's dialogue. It's more like a traditional third person action game, like platformer. But you're playing as like a little minifig, like in a Lego world that's kind of like the Lego movie, like the animated movies.
Yeah.
Voyagers and Builder's Journey are like quite different. Sorry, I just wanted to tee that up because it's very, very different. It's not anyway. But yeah, so you're playing as like an actual like a Lego brick that has an eye.
A single brick.
Not a minifig. There's nothing humanoid about it except for the eye.
In like a world that is like constructed entirely of Lego. Just let that sit for a second. There's this interview on androidpolice.com. Don't love the name of your website, Android Police.
No,
but you
why?
had a good interview.
No. Why that? Why are you the
know.
Android Police?
I know. Like,
don't be the police.
Don't associate with that. Anyway, they had an interview with Tomas Francese, had an interview with the creative director of Lego Voyagers by name of Karsten Lund. And Karsten says they were talking about how did they kind of initially create the essence of what this co-op game would be. And Karsten says, of course, this advertisement is popping up and ruining my life. Hold on. Oh my God. Hold on.
What's it an ad for?
I don't know. It's
one weird trick.
An ad. It's oh, God. Sorry.
This is great podcast content.
This is amazing podcasting.
You're all welcome.
Okay. He said, what does it actually mean to be a brick? How would that feel? How would you move around? How would you navigate if you were not a minifigure, as Jamie pointed out, but a brick? So they came up with a prototype with just that core navigation, and then the game kind of spun out from there. But I bring that up because, first of all, the comedic brilliance of what does it mean to be a brick, but also because
but like said so seriously.
So seriously.
What does it mean to be a brick? This person was high as shit when they came up with the concept of this game. Like,
and I love that for them. But it's like, it's so utterly delightful to just move around the screen because it's literally like, you know, as a 6-sided object, there's no clean rolling in the sense that if you're walking or rolling, look, there's no, even if you're moving from left to right, because you're a hard-sided object, you're turning all around and you're imprecise in your movement because you're literally a brick. And I know I keep saying that, but like there's something that's
literally a brick.
You're literally a brick.
Literally a brick.
Like it's kind of iconic. It's there's just right away there's something that makes you kind of smile and marvel at how much you feel like a brick. And because the environment around you is completely comprised of Lego, something really interesting is that because you are a brick, you can sort of attach to the environment around you. And you know, a Lego brick, it kind of has a flat surface, and then there's like a raised circular portion where bricks can fit and click into each other. And so when you attach to a surface that has those raised circles, as a brick, you can slide much more quickly and efficiently, just going like boop, 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 as if you're moving along and snapping and unsnapping into these sections. And so you can actually complete really tight and precise maneuvers by attaching to existing pieces in the environment rather than trying.
Oh no. Little tech issue. Spencer
Like-
is roboting. Not sure if you can hear me, Spencer, but you're a robot
around
right now.
as a singular. Hello?
Hi. I can hear you. Oh, here we go. They're coming back.
Okay.
Apologies.
Oh no.
You see, yeah, you see
Oh
me
god.
coming
When did you
back
lose
now.
me?
I lost you as you just after you had described like being able to move quickly across the textured platform, so you can like disconnect and disconnect and do like a precise
Okay.
movement if you're connecting to things.
Okay.
Yeah, so you are coming back. The video's back. It seems to be slightly delayed, but I can hear you. So if you want to go ahead and start talking, go for it.
Okay. I was just saying, like, I don't know if anyone has read Shel Silverstein's book, The Missing Piece Meets the Big O, but it's about these two shapes. Like, one is an incomplete circle and one is like a triangle. But when they come together and fit, they're able to roll and move much faster, and kind of it opens up the world for both of them. And it very much feels like that. And when you're playing with somebody else, it's like, not only can you attach to the environment, but you can also attach to each other and kind of become a bigger brick and kind of like roll together and help each other gain velocity. Like, there's just this very grounded physicality that's very satisfying to play with. And so there's a very like, so your bricks can't talk, but they can sing. Like, you can press square on like the PS5 controller. And if you keep pressing square, the bricks will make these little like hums and singing noises, and you can kind of like talk to each other, and it's like very adorable.
So what you're saying is, in the scenario that you opened with, where I find you as an eyeball brick on
blinking up at you,
blinking up at me, you could in fact sing to me.
Yes, that's right.
You wouldn't be able to speak words. I think this is just, the love is becoming more and more likely.
Yeah. I'm so glad to hear that. I mean, I love these bricks. I'm like, I don't want anything to happen to them ever. It's kind of hilarious because the game is obviously not meant to be like, the stakes are not terribly high. It's like
there's no death on the line, right? Like, there's
no death. That being said, because of the clumsy nature of being singular Lego bricks, it's like, there are so many moments where like you're trying to cross a gap, or you're trying to figure out, like, the game is really about using pieces in the environment to kind of build bridges or figure out how to unlock puzzles or figure out how to get from one point to another. And so there's lots of times where you end up falling off a cliff or into water or what have you, and your Lego will just reappear as soon as you fall. But there are many moments where you get stuck in a loop of like the respawn point will be like right at the moment where you fell. So if you just let your piece respawn where it was, these very hilarious loops happen where you just keep like going like dying over and over again, and the little Lego will be like, like it's like kind of funny. But it kind of tells this surprisingly, and again, there's no tutorial, there's no explanation, there's no having to read it. Like, you're just immediately dropped into this world, and I'm surprised that I'm I'm delightedly surprised at the level of complexity in some of these puzzles. Like, you really do need two minds. Like, I think it would be a very difficult game to play on your own. And that's not, and as I'm thinking about it, it's like you can't, like, it's absolutely designed for two people, but it is designed to be able to allow you to play to your strengths. So, like, if one person needs to control a mechanism and the other person has to time a jump while if a person's controlling a crane that's bringing over a platform and someone else has to jump on that crane at the right moment. Like, if one of you is a bit better at platforming, you can very easily switch roles to kind of be like, okay, you operate the crane, I'll do the platforming type of thing, and allows each person to play to their strengths. At the same time, there have definitely been moments where my partner and I have had to kind of discuss and be like, okay, what do we need to do here? Like, it doesn't feel like, oh, this is a game for small children. Like, it's absolutely a game that meets people at any age level, and in a lot of ways I would say is probably more conducive to like an older child who's at, like, I would kind of classify it as like a age 10 and up kind of level of complexity, which I think is really cool. And it tells a surprisingly like your little Lego guys each live in their own little houses and they care about each other very much. And it's kind of like this surprisingly, like, I'm finding myself wondering about the world that we're in. And like, I don't want to say too much because, like, it's not too long of a game. It's maybe, if you're really intelligent, it's maybe like a 4 or 5 hour game. I think my partner and I have been finding, like, maybe it's taking us a little bit longer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how long is it if you're not very intelligent?
Like, or rather, I should say, if you're particularly adept at puzzles.
Okay, yeah.
Which have never been my strong suit.
So what's the runtime for folks who are less adept?
Maybe like 6 or 7 hours.
Okay.
I also find that I'm sort of time boxing it because it's so fun and delightful that I don't want it to be over.
You're trying to savor it.
I've read people say it's over too soon, so I'm like, oh, I don't want it to be over. Let's stop here. But it's a very seamless game. Like, it starts, I was about to be like, it's like God of War. I was like, imagine that. Imagine drawing a comparison between God of War Ragnarok and Lego Voyagers. But
only your mind.
Kind of
I mean,
mind.
Earlier you linked Herdling and Weapons, so why not link Lego Voyagers and God of War?
Why the fuck not?
What is the through line there? I want to know. What connects?
It's like the game opens, it's just like cold open, you start playing, and the main menu comes up, you press play, and it just opens. No preamble.
The no cut from menu to game start, just like God of War.
And then the game,
the
game itself has no cuts. Like, it just keeps going. There's no there's no stopping. And so you don't realize until you press pause and you go to like load the chapters that you realize, like, oh, we're on chapter 14. Like, we have no way of knowing that because we've just been seamlessly playing. So you can kind of, but once you realize that, you realize, like, okay, it kind of breaks it up puzzle by puzzle, scene by scene that you're moving through. And I just think, like, if anything, my one complaint about the game is that the usage of the bricks, like you'll find Lego pieces in the world that you use to build with to solve puzzles, and like, for the most part, I've found that most of the puzzles boil down to building bridges or stairs to either get across gaps or get from a lower platform to a higher one. And if anything, I would have liked to see more. It's like 90% of the puzzles boil down to that. And it's like, with the types of creations that you see people build with Lego, I would have loved to see there being more chances to just build something. Like, it doesn't have to be a bridge or a staircase, but like something more substantial, and having more pieces to be able to work together to make a structure. There's one scene where you're allowed to do something like that, but it's a very simplified version. And so like I would have liked, because I felt like I was gonna ask you actually like about Lego Builder's Journey and how it contrasts, because I felt like that's what that game was all about, was kind of recreating the feeling of making something tangible with Lego bricks. And so I was kind of expecting that there'd be more of that kind of open-ended creativity and imagination. Um, and I was a little underwhelmed by the fact that for the most part you might only get like 5 or 6 pieces at a time, and you're really just relegated to that simple interaction. But that being said, I don't, I say that, but like I still feel like I'm using my brain very much playing this game, and there's a lot of really inventive platforming that's being done by the fact that you are a single brick. And so I think maybe it's just a matter of realizing that this game is at its core more of a platformer, and not where you are a Lego, and not really about building with Lego, which is what the first game was about. I think, right? Is that right?
It's hard for me to say because it's been such a long time since I played it.
Mm.
I feel like if my memory serves me, that Lego Builder's Journey very much evoked the like feeling and aesthetics of building with Legos, but I do think maybe it still fell into that category that you're describing of like there weren't there was pretty often like one way to solve the puzzle in front of you. And it wasn't just about like the creativity of your mind being able to build whatever you wanted to get through the scenario. Like the game was leading you towards pretty much one thing. And so because of that, it's not giving you infinite pieces. It's not
Okay.
it's not like we throw out another random comparison, like a Zelda game.
Mhm.
What the fuck was the most recent Legend of Zelda game?
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, not like Tears of the Kingdom, where you've got all these tools and just a
Mm.
space to traverse, and the limit is your creativity to figure out how to get
Yeah.
across it. It's, here's a puzzle and we're going to give you the tools that we've decided are what you should use to solve it, and now you need to figure out how to apply those pieces to resolve that puzzle. So,
Yeah.
because it's such an incredibly like tactile game, it still evokes the feeling of working with Legos, but I would say it ends up evoking more the feeling of building a Lego project using the book and following the instructions to achieve the final product that you purchased from the Lego company versus, the childhood experience of pulling out your bucket of Legos and figuring out what you wanted to build. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and both of those things are still very much part of Lego's, like, the Lego experience and the brand identity, but I think it skews more towards the, like, probably the more traditionally adult experience with Legos, which is I bought this set to build this specific thing, and now I'm following those instructions. And I think that's satisfying to you just in a different way, but it doesn't have that creativity that
Yeah.
that you would have if you were just kind of given a lot of different pieces and allowed to kind of figure out how you wanted to resolve the issue.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all that being said, I have to say, like, the use of haptics in the DualSense to kind of emulate the feeling of like placing a brick and snapping it in and moving it and having a structure come to life, like I'm continually blown away by how much it feels like I'm actually interacting with
That's
Lego
cool.
pieces.
Yeah.
So I think this is an utterly delightful game and one of the best co-op experiences I've ever had.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Period.
And you and your partner play a lot of cooperative games together, so that's cool.
I think it kind of like it scratches that itch where it's like mentally stimulating and has some freedom in terms of not being super prescriptive in how you get from point A to point B without being highly stressful or involve shooting guns or doing hyper complex platforming, which my partner is terrible at. Like, you should watch us playing It Takes Two. But like, I think because of the mechanic where as a Lego brick, you can snap into the ground and traverse by just following bricks that are already laid and moving across them, it takes out the unpredictability of having to time movements and jump. I feel like everyone should either watch gameplay or play it just for that aspect of the difference between rolling as a solitary brick and then snapping in and using the environment as a Lego and just really being one with the Lego environment. Like, it's kind of amazing how they did that, and it feels very good.
I have a question that I'm curious about. You referenced It Takes Two. I know y'all played Split Fiction as well, which is the other game that came out recently from Hazelight.
Yeah.
Those games, and I think a lot of other cooperative, like 2-player games like this, or cooperative multiplayer games generally, tend to really place the characters into distinct roles.
Yes.
Is that the same with Voyagers, or are your characters, the two pieces, like pretty comparable? Because you referenced before that y'all can kind of like trade out if somebody's struggling with a mechanic. So are the two pieces pretty comparable, or is the choice that you're making between which player you're going to be, like, is it distinct? Like,
Yeah. So it's interesting. Like, we're near the end of the game, but we haven't finished it yet. And I will say that up until a certain point, I would say that the two pieces are interchangeable. And then one of the pieces starts going through changes.
oh,
And it's interesting.
interesting.
So, like, it kind of makes you think about there's this, it's like, it's very much a game that I think is more targeted to adults and kind of what adults find fun and satisfying from a platformer or a puzzle game.
Okay.
At the same time, there's this tone and kind of the emotional lessons that the game is covering and teaching, and the themes are very much reminiscent of kind of like children's books and kind of like learning about, you know, what it means to come of age, or how your childhood friends and you may grow and change in different ways, and learning how to, you know, work with someone or love them in spite of those changes. Like, it kind of like, I feel like the feelings it evokes are very much like the feelings you have when reading like a children's book that you might think of very fondly when you think of what your favorite kid's book was when you were growing up, or a book that your parents would read to you if you have parents that love you. So, like, I think that's what I think. That's what I think it must have been like. Like, you know, I think it has that aspect, and it's in a very charming way. It kind of makes you think about some of those lessons or feelings about kind of growing and changing and what that means for your relationships. So I will say, like, I don't know how it's gonna fully play out, but there is a little bit of a change that absolutely differentiates the two bricks and kind of necessitates one of the bricks to take on a new role that cannot be completed by the other brick in certain interactions.
Okay. Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Well, this
some
is
deep stuff here in Lego Voyagers.
I mean, the first game I remember, I don't remember all the ins and outs of the narrative, but I know I do recall you were playing as a parent trying to rescue your kid. And yeah, I just remember it being surprisingly emotional at different points, despite the simplicity of the presentation. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm really looking forward to checking out with my partner as well. I'm excited to hear that y'all have had such a good time with it.
It's great. Thanks for the rec. Great rec from Jamie, as per usual.
Yeah, I do give those great recs. All right, folks, that is time up for today's session. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope that listening to our thoughts and feelings gave you some thoughts and feelings of your own. If you want more pixel therapy in your life, you can come check us out at patreon.com/pixeltherapypod, where you can sign up for free to stay up to date on everything we have going on, find an archive of all of our content, and even read occasional blog posts about games we don't find time to talk about on the podcast. I probably have quite the backlog of those considering how many games I've been playing, but finding time to write stuff down on the internet is hard sometimes. So I
Mhm.
am hoping to do a blog post within the next month or so and more about some of the other stuff I've been playing. But we appreciate folks following us there, regardless of what I do and don't have time to do. Um, you should also check out and subscribe to the Pixel Therapy Pod YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/at Pixel Therapy Pod, where you can find live recordings of all our episodes as well as an archive of our past streams. And be sure to support the show by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That stuff is just as important, and we appreciate it just as much.
Finally, since we like to put our money and our energy where our mouth is, we end every episode with a recommended side quest. As per usual, just want to continue to uplift Operation Olive Branch. It's a grassroots collective effort to amplify Palestinian voices and their GoFundMes. You can find them at tinyurl.com/OP Olive Branch, or you can visit their Instagram page at Operation Olive Branch.
Thank you for that side quest, Spencer. That is our show for today. So go forth, run a story mission, level up some stats, and don't forget to hug an NPC every now and then. We'll be back oh so soon with some more Pixel Therapy.
Therapy.
All right, bye-bye.